Hey guys, it's Heather Bowers with Aviator Mentor. I have recruited, interviewed, and hired thousands of airline pilots in our industry over the past several years. And today I'm here to talk about how to properly write a letter of recommendation for a fellow pilot. Many of you may be wondering, why are letters of recommendation so important? And I just need to say, when any of us decide to go and buy something and we log on to Amazon and we're looking around at different products, what is the first thing that you normally do before you buy the product? You read the reviews, right? You want to know if it's a 1-star rating or a 5-star rating. And these letter of recommendations serve a similar purpose. And the people hiring you want to know, are you more of a 1 or 2-star type of pilot, or are you a 5-star type of pilot? And by reading these letters, that helps us make a better informed decision. So that's why these letters are very important. I also want to say, do not write your own letters. There are a lot of pilots out there that will go and ask someone to write a letter on their behalf, and you'll come back to me and you'll say you're really discouraged because whoever you asked to write a letter for you actually said, hey, you know what, why don't you write that letter for me and I'll just sign it. Don't do that. And I know that puts you in a really awkward position, but we don't want to read letters that you wrote about yourself. We want to read letters that other pilots have written for you, and we want to hear what other people have to say about you. So if you can, find people who are willing to write the letter themselves, and if they're struggling with what to say, this is why I'm doing this video. This is a guide to help people write this letter of recommendation, and I'm going to talk about that. Now, something else that they may ask you is, who am I addressing this letter to? Now, I will say the most conservative option is to address it to whom it may concern, or dear hiring team, or dear hiring committee, dear hiring panel. And I will say that nowadays, most likely there's more than one person who will be reviewing your information and conducting your interview, and will be talking together to make a joint decision on whether or not you will receive the job offer. It usually does not lie with just one person. Another thing to keep in mind is some people who are in charge of hiring pilots or recruiting pilots, they do not fall within human resources, which many people are surprised to find out. So for me, for example, with all 3 airlines that I worked for, I actually worked under flight operations. Now, during that time, there were brief months, or maybe even weeks, I don't really remember, that I did fall under human resources, but I always ended up going back under flight operations. And to some recruiters, it could actually be insulting if you just assume they're part of HR, okay? Because they are completely separate departments. They have different cultures a lot of times, so you don't want to assume anything. You don't want to unintentionally offend somebody. So let's just all take the conservative road. And if you don't know who is in charge of recruiting or hiring pilots, which could also be 2 separate things, mind you, then let's just stick with to whom it may concern or dear hiring team. Okay, now that we have that cleared up, I also want to say, worry less about the formatting of the letter, worry more about the content that is inside of the letter. Every single letter that you turn in will get read, especially at the legacy airlines. So make sure that these are quality letters, and I always tell people that we want quality over quantity. So keep that in mind. Now for the formatting, let's jump in and start talking about that, because pilots, this is not meant as an attack or insult, by the way, okay? But pilots usually do not spend their days writing letters and sending emails out, right? If you don't use those skills, you will lose those skills. So anytime I look at a pilot and ask them to write a letter, they kind of look at me like, I don't know how to go about this. I don't know how to start it. What formatting do you want it in? And they kind of freak out a little bit because you're not used to having to write letters, and that's okay. That's why I'm here to help you. So I'm going to give you a guide, and you're going to build off of that guide to write this letter of recommendation. We're talking about 4 paragraphs into 1 letter, okay? So the first paragraph is going to be your intro paragraph, and we're going to be talking about how you met this person. State that you are writing this letter of recommendation for this person, put their name in there, And I want you to include how long you've known the person, okay? So we're gonna spend the first paragraph talking about that. The second paragraph, we're going to be talking about their specific experience in the industry. So talk about the titles they've held in the industry, the jobs they've had in the industry, and skills that they have that would make them a good fit within the company or airline they're applying for today. The third paragraph is going to be talking about what makes this person a good human being outside of the company or the airline, aside from being an airline pilot. We'll talk about their military experience, if applicable, some volunteer work that they've done, work that they've done within their communities or in their families, something that will set them apart. So spend the third paragraph talking about that. And for the last paragraph, these are really just closing remarks, and you're going to be thanking them for their time. Thank you for reading my letter. And also make sure that you say, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any other questions, or if you'd like to talk with me further about he or she, whoever it is that you're referring to. So leave an open door. Make sure that you're letting the reader know that you are more than willing to elaborate on your recommendation and talk further about how you know this person and what you have to say about them. Okay, that's all I have for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, visit my website, let me know if there's any way that I can help you further. Feel free to like this video, send me a comment, and I can't wait to do my next video and help you guys out even more. Thanks so much. We'll see ya.